right, there we go. How's it going again?
Pretty good. Yourself?
Keeping busy. Yeah, it's been a couple of months, a month or so at least, since we got to hang out last.
Yeah, it has. It has been a crazy busy time with lots of weird stuff going on. So, my apologies for that. But thankfully,
But I hope
the
in a good
delay
way.
means that everything we're going to talk about today is actually available for sale on Drive-Thru RPG, where previously it was not.
Nice. Here, let me show that just in case people are not aware. And I'm even going to take this. I'm going to handy dandy copy. So we're going to add that one to the stream. Drop that right into the comments here. So everybody will be able to go out there and grab that. There we go.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, I know I have a few of these. I know I have a few of these purchased myself, but I have the digital copies, so I'm gonna go out there and I'm actually gonna get the physical ones because I like those. Oh, you do VTT too?
Yes, sure do. We've got the new version of the Plans and Operations deck, as well as the 3 interlinked Project Awesome Adventures, all of which are vitally important to the adventure. And if you haven't bought Glamour and Glitter yet, it contains some previews of things for the Advanced Technology Manual, which we will hopefully get to within the next year or so. So definitely get that.
Nice.
Yeah, also it's got a really amazing adventure by my wife, Robin English Bircher.
And that'll be coming to Kickstarter, of course, or
presumably so. Yes. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I still cannot believe that I missed the last ones. That was crazy.
We tried, but it took a while to get things out there.
Yeah.
We weren't able to get quite as much publicity as we might have hoped. But everything's available now.
That's all.
So if you're interested in supporting the product line, go ahead and make those purchases.
Yep, PDF and physical.
Yeah.
I know. I said I already have the PDFs, so I know I'm going to be grabbing the physical copies because I just like
the physical copy.
Yeah, I like the tactile feel better. You know. Mm-hmm. Excellent. All right. So, what's our plan for today, boss?
Okay. Well, since you had some questions about it last time, and I know that the process can feel a little overwhelming, we are going to go ahead and create a Freedom Squadron character. Freedom Squadron is a setting of military action adventure for the Savage Worlds system. It has a few extra steps to character creation that aren't part of Savage Worlds itself. Savage Worlds out of the box is going to give you a beginning novice character who is pretty comparable to what you get with a first level character in 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. Maybe a step or two not quite as powerful, but definitely within grasp of that. Freedom Squadron is a very high octane setting of blowing up tanks and fighting giant robots and giant monsters and other things. So for that, we have what's called the vocation framework, which was originally used in Rifts for Savage Worlds.
Okay.
And that gives you a big boost in power and scope. It's not so much that there isn't a lot of room to grow. There always is in Savage Worlds. You can be the top rank, what they call legendary, and there is still room from there to grow. There's no real upper limit. Like a legendary Savage Worlds character, I would say, is more comparable to like a 10th level D&D character rather than a 20th. So plenty of space still to add more customization and more options. All right. So where we are going to begin is, let's see here. How do I? Oops, no, hit the wrong button. I was going for share. I hit the wrong one. Share screen. Okay. All right, here. Okay. All right, so we are going to begin with our selection of framework.
Okay.
So as you can see over here on the bookmark side, there is a long list of different frameworks available. Everything from an action archaeologist in the Indiana Jones mode to like an extreme athlete, down to law enforcement agent, talking more like an FBI agent or Brooklyn detective.
Okay.
Masked vigilantes, so we've got a little bit of a superhero influence on there. The ubiquitous ninja, but what we're going to create today is a sword saint.
Gotcha.
Okay, so the sword saints are more part of the original lore of Freedom Squadron than any of the other vocations.
Mm-hmm.
They are, as it says, an international fellowship of honorable warriors from armed martial arts traditions worldwide who are dedicated to opposing Venom, our world-dominating terrorist organization / front for snake people from prehistory.
Mm-hmm.
And they have recently gone ahead and partnered with Freedom Squadron to battle them. All right. So, with a framework, you get a series of additional abilities and bonuses that are going to vary depending on the framework that you choose. So, for example, here we've got with the Sword Saint, you get some extra abilities with a weapon.
Okay.
You know, because they're a more spiritual path, you get a bonus to your spirit ability as well as the performance skill, and several different bonuses to fighting and battle, including some really great edges. Edges, for those who are not familiar with Savage Worlds, are like feats from D&D, something that further modifies your character by individual choice. By comparison, though, let's flip over to a tech specialist, and you'll see that instead she's getting things like a bonus to her smarts attribute and her science skill, tools, a bunch of special abilities like keyboard commando, things of that nature. All right.
Okay.
So I am going to switch over to the character sheet. Oops, actually, before I do that, let me move that. Okay. And oops, that was supposed to be closed. And there we go with our character sheet. All right. First things first, I'm going to mark down the abilities and bonuses that come directly from the vocation itself and so from the framework.
All right.
Okay. So right there under the second option, Mastery of the Blade, it tells us that we get 3 edges, and they are Danger Sense, which allows you to detect ambushes before they happen.
Nice.
First Strike, which allows you to take an attack against an opponent who comes at you before they get a chance to act.
Okay.
And Improved Trademark Weapon, which gives you bonuses to hit and damage and parry with your weapon of choice. I already marked down that the character begins with the Code of Honor Hindrance. This actually gives the Sword Saint a few extra points to spend that aren't necessarily available to all frameworks.
Now, if I'm looking at the character sheet that's up on the drive-through, I see focuses, edges, specializations, and then it says vocation framework. Would I fill in what you just put in under the vocation framework section?
I would normally, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We are admittedly using a character sheet of my own design that I use at the games that I run. It gets everything more just like on one page up front instead of spreading it out over multiple pages. Sometimes it requires me to be a little creative with how I list people's skills.
Okay.
But it works pretty well. Okay. Sword Saints also begin with a spirit of D6 and a performance of D6.
Mm-hmm.
They get the battle skill also at D6 and fighting at D8. The default for skills in Savage Worlds, except for those that I've got marked with an asterisk, is that you don't start with any points in them. That's something you have to buy skill by skill.
Wow.
All right. And let's also make a note here of the fact that our Sword Saint has a focus in swords.
Oh, I see. And then it says instruments of battle, they get an extra 12 bonus points to get a sword and armor. Okay.
Right, which is a huge bonus because most people start off with a very standardized amount of equipment.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see here. Sandbar, our example or iconic Sword Saint, is Seek. But I think for the sake of this particular adventure, I'm going to go ahead and make our character Japanese. So
Okay.
he is going to have as his first listed language Japanese.
Okay. And that's what I like about it is these are more archetype class kind of things, and I can if you can find a creative way to modify it, it lends itself pretty well to that.
Absolutely.
Can you explain to me once again? Pretend I don't know what the hindrance is. What does that mean?
Hindrances are character penalties. Basically, problems they have of one sort or another. Some of them are physical, some of them are just mental, that are used to give you a fulcrum for role playing
Okay.
and also allow you to earn what are called bennies, which are the hero points of the Savage World system. Those are used for fueling things like soaking damage in combat
Mm-hmm.
and getting back power points, which are used to fuel arcane powers,
Okay.
as well as making minor adjustments to the world. You can say something like, "Oh, I've had a flashlight with me the entire time. Spend a Benny, and you get that."
Nice.
And there's a few other uses as well. They're very flexible, very important. As they say, the bennies must flow. Okay, now performance gives you a focus for every die type you have in it. Die types begin at D4, go up through D12. So we have 2 die types in performance right now, which means we also get 2 performance focuses. So I'm going to say that our Sword Saint knows how to play the biwa and is also no, let's not do Kagura. Let's do no. All right, and it's also accomplished in no theater. All right. So, at this point, in normal Savage Worlds character creation, you might want to go ahead and start assigning attribute points or skill points or something like that. But Freedom Squadron has another step. Oops, overshot. The hero's journey.
Okay.
All right. And okay. So as you can see from that, the Sword Saint gets to make 2 rolls for the hero's journey tables. Each roll on a hero's journey table gives you basically 4 character creation points worth of something. Either additional skill bonuses or new edges or just changes to the rules that benefit your character specifically.
Okay.
All right.
And I see you have to take one on close quarters combat.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and drop
cool.
down to that one right away. Since we know you have to take one there. Okay. Do you happen to have any dice handy?
God, I can get one in.
I do. If you don't, I'm just asking.
Yes. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, I got the weird looking eyeball bag. Yeah, they got me this one. It has everything from a D100 on down. So what do we need? The 20, right, boss?
Right.
Excellent.
Yeah, this is one of the few occasions in Savage Worlds as a whole that you would be needing a D20. There's just a few tables that use it. It's not generally used for most character options.
Okay.
All right.
If I hit this and we hit a 15.
15. Okay. So that is on the next page down. Oops.
Nice.
All right. Counter-Strike fighting. Okay. All right. So let us make a note of that then. And back to our character. I'm not going to worry about trying to make sure it's all in the same font. Okay. It gives you an edge called counterattack, which if somebody misses a melee attack against you, you get to immediately make an attack back at them.
Oh,
normally, in regular Savage Worlds rules, the counterattack can only be just a normal vanilla melee strike. One of the benefits of the Counter-Strike fighting table roll is that you can make any kind of special maneuver with that counterattack as well. You can attempt to disarm them or make it a wild attack that gives you a bonus on damage and to hit, things of that nature. All right. And because I have some thoughts here already about what we're going to be doing with the character, we're going to go ahead and make our second roll on the physical training.
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead and make a roll for that one.
Physical training. We hit a 13. Lucky 13.
Okay, conditioning. All right, so that gives you the fast healer edge, which allows you to heal quicker, obviously.
Okay. Plus one. Nice.
Okay.
There's a lot of different ones, and I liked how
there are so many.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna forget what they were, but I was looking at it where it said the hero's journey part. So again, that would help somebody like me, because it's all organized. First one was on the close quarters, and then it gives you the list of the other ones that you can choose from. So you, even if two people took the same sword saint, not only racial qualities, but just the choice on these two tables alone could make them vastly different.
Absolutely. And once you get to where in character creation, you can just make your own choices for skills and attributes and taking other edges and stuff. That's going to give you a lot of different options.
Yeah, sorry to keep interrupting like that.
Oh, no. It is absolutely your right to do that. You are the host.
I just find it interesting.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead over here and get to attributes. All right. So all attributes start off at default D4. You then get 5 points to distribute amongst those attributes. All right. So spending 4 of them, first bring ourselves up to a D6 in each attribute. It is required in in Freedom Squadron that every character begin with a minimum D6 in each attribute.
Okay.
It's part of trying to basically emulate the fact that they're all trained soldiers and they've been through boot camp and everything, so they're all physically and mentally fit.
Yeah.
This gives us 1 point left to spend. And the most obvious option might seem to be to increase spirit, since we went ahead and we've already started with a D6 there. But I'm actually going to spend it on agility, because agility is basically the most important attribute for a melee fighter. even more so than strength. Because if you can hit something for at least 4 points over its parry, then you get extra damage.
Oh, okay.
So even though melee damage is directly linked to strength, it still works better to be linked to agility because that's going to help you boost those skills.
Good to know.
All right. We then get an additional 15 points to spend on skills. The default in Savage Worlds is you have 12 points to spend on skills, but there is a setting rule called more skill points for more technologically oriented settings.
Okay.
And that gives you 15 points to spend instead.
Nice.
Okay. Now you begin with a default D4 in athletics, common knowledge, notice, persuasion, and stealth, because everybody has that to some degree. You may not be good at trying to talk to people, but you at least know how. So you've got at least a D4 in persuasion. All right. In addition, so those are free. And then we've got our 15 points to spend. Freedom Squadron requires that everybody have at least a D4 in driving, so that's 1 point there, and a D4 in healing, so that's 2. That's our second point. You're required, even if you're a sword guy, to have a shooting of D6. So we've spent 4 points total. Because I am setting something up here. Let me see. Forget what the requirement is. Okay. So you're required to have a D8 for that. I'm going to add in the skill Occult.
Okay.
And spend 3 points to... actually, hold on a moment. I cannot remember off the top of my head if Occult is linked to smarts or... It's smarts? Okay. So...
It's always good to have a partner.
It is. It's fantastic. All right. So we're going to spend 2 points to get that up to a D6 and another 2 points to raise it above the attribute linked to it to a D8. There's a reason I'm doing that. It's okay. All right. And so we have spent so far... Okay, so we've got 8 points spent there. All right. Let's go ahead and do 9 to bring that up to a die 6. I don't like stupid people, so 10 to bring up common knowledge to D6. Driving to D6, because it's always fun to be able to drive in a car chase. I'm actually going to leave healing at D8. And notice is important. Talking to people is pretty important. Okay. Stealth is always good. All right. So... So should it be at like 14 points here, if I'm counting things right? Let's see. What would be interesting?
I know we already have the fast healer.
Yeah.
I don't know if healing would be.
Fast healer is for you healing yourself.
Gotcha.
For natural healing rolls on your part.
Gotcha.
The healing skill is when you're applying first aid or medicine to other people.
Okay.
I think what we're going to actually do here is go ahead and take advantage of the fact that the character's got a D8 agility and go ahead and add in another dot to stealth, because sneaking around is an important part of a commando's job.
Okay.
All right. And are there any particular hindrances that sound interesting to you?
Okay, so the code of honor part is one where he has a, or she, whichever you're going with, has a particular set of beliefs and values that at least that's the way I'm interpreting it, that they're not going to break.
We'll assume it's basically the code of Bushido in this case, since the character's Japanese.
Okay.
And since ninja is a different thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I like something along the lines of, and again, I wouldn't know how to word it in the Savage Worlds type setting, but where they've already lost somebody, they don't want to lose somebody again. They failed somebody.
Okay.
You see what I'm going with there? How
right.
do you word that?
If it's like a personal tragedy, something they regret greatly, then let's call that the shamed hindrance.
Nice.
And we will go ahead and make that a major hindrance in this case. Because they feel this regret and they want to do better, let's also give them heroic.
Okay.
Right, both of which are major hindrances. You can take up to 4 points worth of various hindrances.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Those points can then be spent to either buy additional edges, attributes, or skills.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Now, what we're going to do in this particular case is go ahead and take... I should have grabbed the book. I didn't. I don't have it handy. All right.
Which one do you need, boss?
Robin's bringing it over.
Nice.
Again, it's the useful thing about having a partner.
Yeah.
Especially one who, is a participant in these things.
I say kind of helped write, and
yeah, she was an invaluable part of getting both of the main books together, and also editing. And of course, as I mentioned before, she wrote our awesome adventure, Glamour and Glitter, which has a lot going for it that people aren't realizing, and they should really buy it. Okay.
Yeah, we'll put all that up, the drive-through RPG stuff again, and I'd put it up where I'm buying it, but I kind of don't want to show them the credit card info, so
okay,
that would be awkward.
All right, and okay. I just realized that the thing I was trying to build actually doesn't work with some of the choices that I've made so far. Okay. So what we are going to do instead is go ahead and reassign those occult points. I was trying to build a character and give them the chi edge and the crazy thing that we came up with, but don't really have the access to that, so we're not going to worry about it.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Yeah, we can give them fast draw instead. All right. So let's see. What are we going to do with those 4 points?
I'm pretty stoked about the occult book coming out soon.
Hopefully soon, yes.
Hopefully, yeah.
And by soon, we mean like in a year. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Game design terms. Soon is...
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just used to speaking in that.
Go ahead then and raise some of these agility-based skills.
Yeah.
Okay. And let's see here. Got driving, shooting, stealth, all up there. And we'll go ahead and go ahead. Let's put that extra point then into healing. So you might as well be good at giving first aid because you want to help out your buddies.
That would go along with the shamed.
Yeah. All right. And so we've got Counter-Strike fighting here. Indicating that this character is quick on the draw with their swords.
Yep.
So we are going to give the character one of the edges from Friends Foes Manual, which is fast draw. So we are going to make this character a master of Yaijutsu.
There it is. Would that be under the combat edge? Yeah.
Yes, it's under the combat edges. Nice. The mechanics might sound familiar to some other people out there. In any round that you begin with your weapon holstered or sheathed, you may draw 2 action cards when you spend a penny for an additional action card. You also receive a +2 bonus on athletics rolls to interrupt opponents or resist having your action interrupted.
I think I just read quite possibly one of the greatest of these edges, the Kung Fu Grip.
That would require a character more invested in unarmed combat. Our character is concentrating pretty hard on
I just thought that was
the
awesome.
swords so far. Okay. So that actually then gives us an opportunity here to spend our 4 points that are part of our hindrances on other things. So as a human, the character always gets 1 bonus edge of their own choice, which since it is a Born a Hero setting, that's another setting rule, can be a novice edge all the way up to... Hold on a moment. Do I want to be totally stupid and change my mind again?
Oh, they got legendary ones and all in here.
Okay. Yeah, let's be a nut. Okay. Never mind fast draw. I like it, and it makes sense for the character, but we're going to go insane here so that we can get into something totally crazy.
Okay.
So we're going to use 2 points. No, actually, we'll keep fast draw because... Never mind. All right, we're going to use 2 points from the hindrances to raise our character's spirit to a D8.
Okay.
Then we are going to use the other 2 points to buy a legendary edge. Action Pet. Basic Savage Worlds has an edge called, is it Beast Mastery? Shoot, I forgot the name suddenly. Sorry, Shane. Don't mean to forget. Beast Master. Okay. Which gives you a pet of some sort. You know, you've got some sort of animal companion.
Mm-hmm.
That animal companion is, frankly, pretty fragile because you're just using the basic animal stats that come with the books.
Okay.
Action Pet was my correction for that because I love companion animals.
Mm-hmm.
This guy behind me is Catamount. My actual player character for Freedom Squadron, and that is his pal Wally the Mountain Lion. And they are an insane, goofy-ass team of stabbing, clawing freaks. The Action Pet Edge replaces Beastmaster, and instead of getting what's called an extra, which is a character that doesn't get its own bennies, doesn't have as many wounds available to it and things like that, you get an animal that is, for all intents and purposes, the same as a sidekick.
Okay.
You know, it is a fully developed second character. All right. So
wow.
we are going to give our swords person an action pet.
They get 50 points to spend.
Yes. It's nuts. All right. We also get to choose an additional language for every die in smarts. So you get, what is it? Actually, let me check my rules on that.
Okay. But you start off at 4, right? So you would count from the 4, not the 6 that is supposed to be the base?
No, you would count off, you would start with whatever the character's final smarts is
Right,
after
right.
you've calculated everything.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Oh, wait, I should just be using. Oh, yeah. That book. Let's cut to our study rules. It is under global operations. Okay, so knowing a number of languages equal to half their smarts die. Okay, so yeah, I had the amount right. So the character gets starts off with 3 languages, Japanese being one of them. Wait, no, is it? In addition to their native language. So it's a total of 4 languages. Sorry. Right. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and add English since it's kind of the default for how everybody communicates within Freedom Squadron, unless you want it to be something different. And then we will add in, let's say, Russian.
I was just literally thinking Russian.
Okay, and then we will use Standard Chinese, also known as Mandarin.
Mandarin, yeah.
I use Standard Chinese because, as far as I know, that's actually the preferred way of referring to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I was actually thinking I guess it really depends on the setting, what languages you're going to hear. But yeah, English is usually the default kind of thing. Like like you could pick Hindi, you could pick Romani, anything. Okay.
Yeah, Esperanto.
Yeah.
Dead languages. So there's more than one character out there who speaks Latin.
I was just going to say, yeah.
All right. Now back to our legendary edges there in Action Pet. So there's an extensive sidebar on building your Action Pet, since it's basically the same as building a brand new character.
Yep.
Including new racial abilities that aren't allowable in other settings. But we're going to go ahead and assume that our action pet is one of our example action pets. You have your choice of a large parrot or raven, since they've basically got the same sort of intelligence and speaking ability. Swarm of kittens, which is a deliberately silly thing that I threw in there. Military working dog, and hippopotamus. All right. Because I wanted to push things just as crazy as they could get with the hippopotamus. So let's say that this character has instead a wolf. And we'll just make a note here that it's got the same stats as a military working dog.
Okay.
All right. Okay. And then on to gear. Okay, so all starting Freedom Squadron characters begin with their choice of a couple of different basic options for their gear kits. The main basic one here is that you start off with a Kevram vest, that's bulletproof vest, combat helmet, assault rifle, pistol, 3 fragmentation grenades, Operations pack, backpack outfitted with all sorts of survival gear, and a comm button to go into your ear so that you can communicate with everybody.
Nice. People with covert or more subtle, they can do the covert ops kit. Okay. Nice.
Okay, and there's also one for vehicle drivers, pilots, drivers, sailors, where they come with a large or smaller vehicle. Okay, and let's go ahead, since we put a bunch of points there into stealth. Let's go ahead and give our not a ninja sword saint the covert profile gear kit.
Okay.
Still give them a gun. Well, 2 guns. Pistol and your submachine gun. Percussion tools, which aren't necessarily that useful for them. Night vision goggles, which are good for everybody.
Right.
Okay. And of course, the all necessary comm button. All right. And then, as mentioned before, you also get 12 gear points in order to put together your sword.
Okay.
All right.
Now, where am I going to... Ooh, weapons.
Yes.
Nice.
So first, let's go over to weapons and melee weapons. As you can see there is an entire section on high-tech blades. In the initial version of Freedom Squadron, it was concentrating just on high-tech katanas. The fact of the matter is, as much as I am a Japanophile and an anime junkie, the katana itself isn't really necessarily any better than a lot of European swords or other Asian swords. So we went ahead and expanded things here to be a bit more inclusive and include high-tech blades of all types.
Okay.
So we've got 12 gear points to spend. Let's be... Okay. There's some restrictions involved in the minimum strength requirements for melee weapons. So since our character only has a strength of D6, we don't want to create any issues there. We'll go ahead and assume that it is a D6 blade.
Okay.
All right. Robin, do you remember what the type of sword wielded by the leader of the Oyaban was called? Okay. I don't remember either. All right. Think of that character from anime. He wielded a type of sword that wasn't it's a Kodachi, right? Yeah, Kodachi. That's there we go.
I was just looking it up for you.
Okay. All right. Okay, let's do strength plus D6. And it has a default armor piercing value of 4.
Okay. Oh,
and that costs only 2 gear points, which still gives us another 10 gear points we can spend on specializing this particular blade or their armor if we wanted to. But I think we want to throw it all into the sword because that's going to be more fun right now.
Where do I see Oh, there it is. Gear points at the very end. I just had to scroll over. So if it was a D4, it would only be worth 1 gear point. 6 is 2, 8, 10. Okay.
Okay. So, all right. So gear points, to make it actually easier for me to give you a lot of different options. When I revised this, I keyed gear points to also equal positive racial abilities from the race creation rules in Savage Worlds, as well as the power modifiers from the arcane background side of Savage Worlds. And I should have thought to bring that up, but let me go ahead and do that here. Okay. And we're going to bring up Suede. Wrong one. Get into powers. Okay. Power modifiers. You will note amongst the power modifiers are such options as armor piercing.
The hamster of doom.
Heavy weapon. You can make your weapon cause fatigue. You can increase, well, I mean, it doesn't make sense to increase the range on this, but, things like that. So we are going to use 2 of these power points to go ahead and add the heavy weapon property to our little sword. Some sort of crazy ass tank cleaving sword in the style of Goemon Ishikawa the 13th Zantetsuken. Sorry, I mispronounced that. All right. Heavy weapon allows you to deal damage to vehicles and things like that. It's not going to be really easy with this character's strength and the size of the blade and all that, but even though they may not be able to cleave a tank, that's going to give them the option to, do some pretty serious damage to, say, a plane, which are usually pretty lightly armored, or a combat motorcycle or something like that, which normally necessarily wouldn't be damaged by a hand weapon like this. Okay, so with that, we've only spent 4 of our 12 points. Okay. All right, here. So let's go ahead and make some allowances here. All right, we've got 8 points left. Let's go ahead and add +2 damage, which is going to cost us a total of 6 points. Okay, and going back to Suede, adding another 2 points of armor piercing is only going to cost us 1 point. So let's see here. We had 2 for the sword, 2 for the heavy weapon. We spent, what was it, a total of 6 there on, okay, so on the extra damage. Oh man, okay. So we are only up to 10 out of 12 points. Let's go ahead and go nuts then. All right. We'll go ahead and add an extra 4 points of armor piercing. So it's now to AP 6.
What is just curious, what's the detriment? Because you were talking about that. If I would have made this, or you would have made this a D8 instead of the 6, because the strength is 6.
Let's go ahead and bring that up here.
Is it better to match? Or be under your actual strength?
Better to match, I'd say.
Okay. Oh, I lost the weapons. Scroll. There we go.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Let's do Steve. Okay. Cost that. Very good.
Okay, so there we go. Minimum strength.
Yes.
If the user's strength is less than the minimum strength required, you receive any of the weapon's positive abilities, such as reach or parry bonus.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and also you only do as much damage as your strength is.
Okay.
So it saves us a point there. We can go ahead and add a few little extra crazy things.
Yeah, that'll make it better for the. I forget if we had fast attack yet or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm understanding more.
All right. Okay, so let's see here. So we've got.
You even have throwing knives in here.
Yep.
Nice.
Got 2 points left, and you can't put a laser sight on a sword. That doesn't make any sense. Darn. Oh, I know. Okay.
But you couldn't do a heated edge. Now I see 3 semi-automatic pistols.
We'll go with adding something over here from the race creation rules instead.
Okay.
Yeah. And since you can spend these points on either your armor or your weapon, we've got 2 points left, if I remember right. Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and add an extra +4 armor to that Kevram vest.
Nice.
Okay. Oh, sorry, Kidamish vest. Forgot what kind of character we were dealing with.
Yeah, pad it up.
+4 armor. It's... All right. Okay, so we are at a point then when we are wrapping up everything involved.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. 6.
Revolver.
Fire, we don't need to worry about. Shots, we don't need to worry about. Oops. Heavy weapon. Okay. And all right. So let's get over here to derived attributes. Pace 6 is the default unless you take an edge that specifically gives you a faster pace. Parry is your fighting die divided by 2 plus 2. So that is a default of 6 there. Because our character has improved trademark weapon, they also get an additional 2 points to their parry when they're using their weapons. So their parry is an 8. Pretty snazzy. All right. Toughness is half vigor plus 2, so 3. It's base of 5. Then we add in our armor.
Okay.
Okay. Can mesh. Kinmesh vest is going to be +5 armor, and we added an additional +4 there.
4.
So that is toughness 14, and we put the armor value over there in parentheses so that it's easy to tell how much the armor the character has if they're attacked by somebody who has armor piercing capabilities to their weapon. All right. We can go ahead and include the information for the Beretta and the Chris Vector submachine gun, but that's easy enough to look up in the book, so we're not going to bother with that. Okay. All right. So starting off character doesn't have a cool code name. So let's go ahead and just give this person a normal Japanese name. I am going to just roll a die randomly to determine what sex the character is. Evens the character is female, odds it's a guy. And I rolled a 1, so it is a guy. And okay, we'll borrow some. Hi, thanks. I'm getting some help suddenly. Get down, Michael. All right. And use the surname of my favorite manga artist. And let's see. Takano? Sure. And Takano as.
I don't know why that one came into my head, but it did. So
yeah, that works just fine for me. All right. And so we have our recruit, Mashima Takano, all put together and outfitted. Oh, we need to name the wolf. Let's call the wolf Geen, which means silver.
Okay.
All right. And there we go. Okay. The Sword Saint has a few extra steps that won't necessarily be there for a lot of characters, but that's exactly why we did a Sword Saint tonight, to show off those extra steps. All right. What questions does everybody have?
Yeah, I know. I guess this one here saw you yesterday on a stream. That's why I brought him up.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, it's good to have other people coming over. But yeah, it seems like if I wanted to, I mean, again, just for the S's and G's of it, if I wanted to come in here and I was looking through these as we were going, not that I wasn't paying attention, because these, I just.
There's so much cool stuff. Of course you want to learn.
Yeah, there really is. Frameworks is something that I like the idea of the ex-Venom agent. But if I were to, I looked at officer, but I don't think that means police officer.
No, officer would specifically be a military trained officer, somebody who has been through military school.
Yeah. Now, if I were to try to make let's do like a detective, private detective kind of a thing, who's going to be focused on intelligence and spycrafts type of a deal, what would I start with?
There are a couple of good options for that. The most obvious one would be law enforcement agent. And just assume that the character is ex-professional police. All right. If you want something a little more street-based, they might be an ex-criminal instead.
Okay.
Or if you want somebody who's just outright a spy, we've always got our spy.
Sure. Yeah, I like the law enforcement agency, but now that you mentioned the ex-criminal, they would be more what do you? They would know. They would know the more seedy underworld probably better. See, I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And again, really, again, for somebody like me, having that hero's journey section there, telling you how many rolls, which one you should do first, and then giving you a list of the other ones, that helps out a lot. I like that. Excellent, excellent indeed. I'm going to probably put one of these together, and if you don't mind, it might take me a little while, but just to get everything taken care of. But I might send that off to you, and you can tell me what you think.
Sounds good.
Okay, because I'd love to get the what is it, the VTT? I'm gonna get that and set up something where there's gonna be able to be played, because this is what I have here, and so again, it's a little bit different from what we were using. I liked your 1-page thing, but for me to organize it better the first time, I think this would be the best.
Oh yeah, the official character sheet is fantastic. I just find it a lot easier to work with the one I'm put together. It's what I usually use for running convention games and the like, because it keeps everything right there on the first page.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So yeah, that's my thing. Is I want to get one of these together. Maybe we can set up something and run through, run through a sample and just to show everybody how it is.
Sounds good.
Excellent. And we get this again. Don't forget, everybody, run over here to Drive Through RPG. Grab yourself the physical copies. Grab yourself PD. Why am I changing my screen name? Add to stream. There we go. I'll tell you, I'm not even drinking yet.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Make sure that you pick up the field manual, the new core rules, not the old commandos manual. That's still available for sale because some people haven't switched over to Suede. But if you're using Savage Worlds Adventure Edition, you definitely want the field manual.
Okay. So I would grab the field manual, which I have. I just don't have the physical copy, so I'm going to do that. Look at that. It's even on a... Get on it. What are you waiting for? Get over there and grab that.
What the hell? Buy it now before we raise the price.
Exactly. I love these decks are something that really helps. Again, somebody like me who has to get it done quickly because we have so many other things going.
Yeah. If you have the old Plans and Operations deck, it still works. You just have to remember that the skills associated with each card have changed a bit. So, I would recommend getting the revised deck instead, but that's just me.
And I will be. Yep. GM screens, and again, everybody that knows me knows I'm a sucker for a GM screen. So I think every RPG I've ever gotten that has one, I have to have it. So that's a guarantee there. So yep. Again, run over, support, grab it as much as you can, grab what you need. And heck, if you want to join us when we start getting these games up and running, after we do the sample one and we just have one handy, we'll set something up. I always enjoy playing. So there we go.
Sounds good.
Good. Let's remove that. And so where else are we going to be able to see you in the next few days?
For the next few days, I am going to be head down in books, honestly. I am currently working freelance with Sigil Entertainment, working on some of their upcoming Superheroic 5e companion stuff. Got a few other projects that I can't talk about yet because details are still being worked out. But with any luck, we'll be seeing the return of another fan favorite Savage World setting.
Nice.
All right. What's up for you?
Yeah, we got the reason I'm so into the noir stuff, or noir, well, if I could speak lately, is I actually have a new game that I'm working on besides Gone Hunting that we showed, is called Scene of the Crime, where you are a noir detective and you're going through, and it's a narrative adventure. So I've been working on that since 2017.
I know the feeling. I've got a setting out there that I've been off and on developing for ages. We published 2 adventures for it, but never actually got out a full setting book. It's called The King is Dead. You can find it on Drive Through RPG as well. It's for previous versions of Savage Worlds, so it's not up to date by any means, but it's about an 18th century that never was, where the revolution isn't against human aristocracy, but against vampires. So less reason to feel bad about chopping off their heads.
Nice. That is pretty awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna have to search that one up because I saw you had another one that was out. My brain's frozen. Prowlers and Paragons.
Prowlers and Paragons, yes, that is a sister publication from our publisher. It is a very flexible superhero role-playing game by Len Pimentel and Sean Patrick Fannin, and I definitely recommend it. It is fun, and it is gigantic handsfuls of dice.
Nice.
All right. Also available for me, in case people don't know, there's a Savage World setting called Dawn of the Daikaiju from Pinnacle Entertainment itself, in which you play the giant monsters.
Mm-hmm.
And for anybody who's looking for some late 19th century monster hunting fun, I'd also recommend the setting Rippers Resurrected and Our Adventure Expedition Amazon, co-written by Pinnacle CEO and founder Shane Hensley. Awesome guy.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I see. I'm going to recommend that just everybody goes out and hits them as one of their favorite publishers. Just sit it here because I'm looking through here alone, and it's Six Gun Fury. That just sounds pretty awesome to me. I also love stuff like it. I'm not saying that's what that one is, but I like Weird West or Weird History style things. And I'm just looking alone at all the stuff you have on here. And that's going to take me at least a couple of days to go through. I'm not going to lie. That's going to take me a couple of days to get through that. And I really hope we can have you back here, but we have gone over our hour that we like to stay around. This has been fun. I appreciate you taking the time to come on here.
You're welcome. It's always fun.
Thanks. I appreciate it. So yeah, I guess we'll see everybody next time. And if anytime you want to come back, you want to do another character, you want to do how to set up an adventure, set up a world, whatever you want, man, you're more than welcome to come back anytime you want.
Sounds good. A good idea might be demonstrating plans and operation cards.
That's what we're going.
All right. There's some other good live plays already out there, but I'm always happy to do another one.
Excellent. I will try to have as much as the set as I can for next time.
Sounds good.
All righty, bud.
All right.
We'll see you
Have
later.
fun, people.
See you.